Welcome. Over the Top Podcast Sports Edition. It's your boy HD in the house with the Over the Top Podcast Sports crew. Who we got on deck? Q, what's going on, man?
I will be so much better when Bo Nix graduates.
I'm tired about 6 years, ain't he?
This man is 23. I know he must have had a COVID year, but can he graduate?
We played 2 years with Auburn, and 3 years now, 2 years now with Oregon.
He's going in his second year with Oregon.
Oh boy. Hey, we got Playmaker G. What's going on, Play?
Hey man, I'm great. I'm excited about the upcoming season. I feel like I need to put on the pads myself.
October 28th, Winston-Salem State come down to Johnson C. Smith. We're gonna test that butt, buddy. You better mark it down. Mark it.
Talking about the cheerleading team?
No, sir. Mark your calendar. Mark your calendar.
I'm too old to be dealing with cheerleaders, man. I'm too old to be dealing with the cheerleaders.
RJ, what's up, man? You're on mute.
I normally have my mouse. What's up, Mr. Dawkins? I ain't got it today.
Okay. Get on track. Things going with you good?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good. And last but not least, Al, what's going on? Albert, a.k.a. Rockstar. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, just trying to make it do what it do, man.
Yeah, so, hey, appreciate you jumping on with us tonight, man. For the fans don't know, I'm telling you a little bit about your pedigree. South Carolina State alone, free safety. You played free safety, didn't you?
Defensive back, corner, free safety.
Back, quarterback. There you go.
There you go.
Coached all the other states, so he got a little knowledge of the game. So it brings about a little more inspired to the game tonight. Hey guys, Barron's out tonight. Wish him happy birthday. Enjoy yourself, B. Franks. But we're gonna get pushing. Let me go ahead and make one more adjustment here. Let me get my story. We're gonna keep pushing. They talk a little about the NIL. I know tomorrow is the start of college football. Well, tonight actually the start of college football.
No, last Saturday.
Last Saturday?
Yeah, I was going to talk about it in the short. But the first game of the college football Division I was Notre Dame and Navy.
Like I said, the beginning of the college season started this week. We're gonna call that a preseason game. But what I want to bring up is the NIL, man, and these guys are making money on the NIL. And I'm gonna go to this video from Deion, and I want to get you guys' reaction after the video. You guys,
NIL, they're killing it. Collectives, you could be Tom, Dick, Harry, and Larry, and you just put a bag together.
Yeah, y'all hear it?
Yep.
Boosters or whatever, whoever does it, and try to solicit these kids to come to your university. Who is that helping? I want the kid to get compensated. I want him to be straight, by all means. But you got to balance the fine line. Is he still going to want it like that when you've just given him that and he didn't have to earn it? I wish it was a kind of a way to measure your ability and what you bring to the table.
Yeah, before.
Yeah. And I have no problem whatsoever.
I'm with you on that. I think that the inducement side of NIL it's not good for the sport, and I don't think it's good for the kids either. They might be getting a little bit of money.
It ain't NIL,
but
collective.
This is Q from Over the Top Podcast.
Hey guys, what you guys say?
This is everything that happened in sports.
Let me get off that. What you guys say, RJ? Oh, we still got it on, don't we?
Nah, it's off.
No, you took it off.
There we go. What's your thoughts? What are your thoughts about
money has always been in college sports. We just really kind of tearing the scab off of something that's been pretty consistent. The thing that's really deep about what Deion is saying is that the college players have never got the lion's share of the money, and I think it's important that they get the lion's share of this money. Because if you think about it, top tier coaches are making $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year, and these kids can't. Like, one of the deepest stories that I heard, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna turn it over. Chris Webber seen his jersey sitting in the daggone
Don't talk about Chris Webber.
in the window. Huh?
Don't talk about Chris Webber.
Man, look, man, go on, man. I'm telling the story. Listen to the story. Listen to the story. And so Chris Webber, I think it was Jalen Rose were together, and they looked in the window and they seen their jerseys in the window. Their jerseys were for sale, but they had little to no money in their pocket. They couldn't even buy a hamburger. So when you go from that state to where kids have access to means and money, I think the latter is better than the further, because those kids weren't benefiting in any way, shape, form, or fashion with any level of consistency. Now it's out in the open. You get what you generate. So I like NIL. I like it. I think it's a good thing in terms of that. I think the transfer portal is good in the sense that, kids don't have, when coaches leave, kids have no recourse. Now when coaches leave, they can make a determination as to whether they want to stay or leave. And a lot of times when they have you sign, that's one of the reasons why I didn't go back to DC and play at Bowie. Because heck, my man had my rights. So I was done deal. So, I'm all for NIL. I'm all for the power that it provides to players, and I'm thankful for it and their opportunity to get it.
What do you think about that, Albert?
Well, I think I agree with NIL. I think it's a good thing, and sometimes I don't know why you get the kickback. And Deion, in some instances, saying that it's good, but then there's things that he's saying that need to be, I guess, tweaked or whatever. And I tend to say it need to be tweaked only for the reason I say that it should be more widespread. These guys are superstars. A lot of times they're position players. They're skill players. Well, the skill players are good, and they're marketable. But there's a whole lot of other things that make football go, and I'd like to see it more widespread. I don't want to take it from them. I don't know how, as talented as Deion is, that he could say that you should not get the bag unless you perform or whatever. And I think with football is a lot to do with a collective group of people and not just one guy that makes it great. Even though I think he should be compensated. I'm all for NIL. I just make it short on that. And the people that objected to it, for whatever reason, I kind of question where they're coming from, because these kids, I agree with my man earlier, have stood in a line and have gotten nothing in their favor, when everybody else, administrators, colleges, coaches, have been feeding off of $1 billion industry. And for these kids, not the only thing they say that they can be proud of is they got an education. Come on, man, we got to do better than that. This is $1 billion industry, and it still don't affect the colleges administrators. It really affects, you get it from a booster, and I'm gonna leave it at that, because it doesn't affect the bottom line for the universities at all. So I don't know why these coaches are complaining one iota when you put $9 million in your pocket and you don't want to see these kids even get a dime that don't affect their bottom line at all. So I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Right. With that, G? I'm gonna get my little point, man. What do you think about that, G?
So I echo some of the things that was just said. I do think it's disheartening when you have a quarterback making millions of dollars and you got an offensive guard making nothing, and they play for the same team. I think that is just, they need to kind of figure out a way to kind of have the whole team, because it's a team sport, so the team should be compensated, not just one man. And then I'll go to the things that I don't like about the NIL. It's not that I don't like the kids getting money. I'm all for the kids getting money. I don't like a booster having the chance to build a super team because they got more money compared to another school. I mean, I think it should be some kind of, like, if I go to Alabama and Alabama got boosters that's willing to put millions and millions of dollars into their program, not program, but into their NIL money, and I have another school that doesn't have the same type of boosters, so they're not going to get the same kind of athletes. I think it just has a different impact on the game. And then the last thing I'll say about that is I am okay with it at the college level. I'm starting to see it kind of go into the high school level. And I think once it goes into the high school level, you got to put better parameters on it. And not that you can't pay the kids. I just think you need to put some type of parameters on it so that people are not being taken advantage of.
Q.
Answering what Playmaker said, that sounds like a skill issue to me. You tell me you ain't got no boosters, no alumni who can't throw in a couple $100 to get a good player. Yeah, that sounds like a sloppy shot.
Not a sloppy shot. What
I will say is what some Deion Sanders stuck out to me is you got players that haven't earned it. When that's so wrong, and he knows that's wrong because he goes out or he sends someone else out to scout the players he brings in and to scout the players who deserve the money that he's giving them. So yeah, they earned it, and you know they earned it because you watched them play in high school. And I also think it's ironic because it's talking about we don't know if you earned the money when some people were saying that about Deion when he took the job at Jackson State. And some people were saying, hey, I don't think Deion earned all the money Jackson State gave him.
Yeah.
But he took the money. He turned the program around. So what's there to say that there's not freshman players who can take the money and turn the program around? Did anyone watch the USC Trojan game last Saturday or catch anything of it?
A little bit.
I seen the highlights of it.
So the freshman, Zach Branch, that's someone who I know he's been getting money because I've watched Zach Branch for like 2 years. He's been all over YouTube on highlight reels. There's YouTube personalities who do football that have him on their 7-on-7 team. He went his first game in USC, 2 touchdowns and a kick return for a touchdown. So
yeah.
If a freshman come in and if the freshman earned the money by being one of the best players in high school level at national level, then yes, give him the money he deserves because that type of player can turn your whole program around.
So I'm gonna throw a wrinkle in the game. I agree that you get the money, but I guess my thing is before I think the NIL came about because they didn't want the booster club feeding the kids money on the table and buying parents cars and buying parents stuff. But the booster club is just the same sponsor. So what you did is what I'm thinking you did is the same booster club that gave the money is the same sponsor to pay the NIL. But that's not even cutting into the, just like Albert said, they're not even cutting the profits of the school. So the school is still off the hook. I think the school need to pay these kids out of the budget that they generate. They're already generating millions of dollars to the school. So I think the money should come from the school, not no booster or corporation.
And not to cut you off, therefore, then you can get money for the lineman. You can get money for the linebacker.
That's right.
And there's plenty of money to go around. When you start talking about the SEC is giving everybody in their conference over $70 million just to be in the conference.
Right.
You start looking at the dollars and cents. There's no way the tackle, the center, the long snap should not have some kind of money that makes a difference in how he lives every day.
Hey, gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you something. This kid that played at Good Counsel, which is a school in the conference that I came out of in high school, which is dope. I ain't even gonna lie to you. We had 2 teams in the national top 25. My cousin's team, St. John, and good counsel, and they'll probably end up in the top 25 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
One of those kids at Penn State is a left tackle. He would have been a top 10, top 15 pick. Because of NIL, he went back to school. Because he wasn't really pressed about graduating. He wanted to go back to school. I think he's getting somewhere in the neighborhood of about $1 million to $2 million a year.
See, that's crazy money, though. Oh, Ron.
No, but what I'm saying to you is, it's afforded these kids the opportunity not to be rushed into a situation where, and you could effectively enjoy college.
Yeah.
You could effectively stay there and be a kid,
Right.
and get that out of your system, and then transition into a man. Aspects of handling the NIL, there's certain other little tentacles and things that they have that's associated with helping kids transition past that. But I'm telling you, that kid, he would have been pushed into the NFL. He would have made it because he liked that. He got great feet, man. He played for Penn State. Watch him this year. I think he went number 73. Heck of an athlete. However, he had a choice. And he chose to stay at State College because he liked it there.
I mean, I can understand that. I guess my thing is this. You only going to pay.
That's one of the things. Hold on, let me say one thing. That's one of the reasons why they pay people out of the collective, too. They pay the linemen and some of the other guys out of the collective, but yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Hank.
Right, let me cut you off. But I guess my thing is, that's my thing. You only gonna get a handful of players that you're gonna pay $1 million to. Versus if it comes from the school, okay, if a lineman make $800 a week to play lineman, that's some money for him to run on that week. That's some money he can put in his pocket. That's something sustainable. Versus paying to 4 or 5 people $1 million. Now you can spread it out, and there, that like Evan said, there's enough money to go around everywhere. So I guess my thing is, I love the NIL setup. I love the fact of paying the kids. I just think with the NIL, it's almost like you just putting a coat on what you've been doing for years anyway. So you're not really changing what you've been doing years anyway.
I was about to say they've been building. So every few years we get a 2019 LSU. That Alabama team the year before. Well, there's been a bunch of teams that have a bunch of NFL caliber players on that roster at that time. Yeah, there's been quote unquote super teams already, even without the legal money.
Yeah.
You know, one good movie that really chronicles it. It's funny. It's kind of unrealistic, but it's funny. Johnny Be Good. Johnny Be Good, old techs, paying players. That's what they've been doing.
No, they've been doing
that. If you've ever seen Johnny Be Good, that's what they've been doing that for years. Yeah. Man, listen. When I was in JUCO, one of the schools that I was supposed to particularly go to, school called, man, I hate to say this, but it's called Morningside. Man, they was giving dude $100 handshakes up there.
That's crazy.
Morningside. Oh, come on, man. Man, they giving out bread. Man, they been giving out bread. If you good enough, some of the dudes, they find ways to get talent on it.
They do. Go ahead.
Like he was saying earlier, when he talked about how a guy can make a decision now to stay at a certain school because he's making X amount of dollars through NIL, or if they ever break through and start letting the colleges pay them a certain type of money, you start looking into the NFL, who only pays them. They've got a cap on how much you can make coming in your rookie year.
Right.
It's make them say, "Hey, man, these guys are staying in school. We've got to do something about our cap space."
Right.
Interesting. It could have a triple effect on how everybody's doing business.
Right.
And
like
just
if I'm a running back, I stay in school.
I'm a
running back, and I got an NIL. I stay in school.
Hold on. I can't hear one of them. Go, Quentin. Then you go, run.
Like, is that Angel Reese? Angel Reese, I think, because she's a junior. She could have came out this year, but she said, "Hey, she got sponsors on top of the LSU money they gave her. On top of her, she's got like a sponsor every couple weeks. Why would she go pro?
Make that money.
I'm earning money and earning education.
I like Angel, but Angel can't compete with them WNBA.
No, I don't think she's ready for that. I think that's
nah. She ain't filled out enough.
What you say, Ron?
Audra Wilson is a whole nother level. Her, some of them bigs in the WNBA different. But man, listen. If you look at the collective bargaining agreement in the NFL, they basically suppressing the salaries of running backs. If I'm a running back, I stay in college.
I mean, you might as well, because the worth of the running back now, they don't show you this year they ain't gonna pay you no money. Even you 5-year cap, after that, you can't find a job. I mean, how many top tier running backs got released this year?
I forget if you try this down. We gonna talk about Jonathan Taylor. Are we gonna talk about that?
Go ahead, speak on it.
Because Jonathan Taylor's 24. What the Colts franchise? What you ain't gonna sit here and tell me is you ain't gonna pay a 24-year-old who led the league in rushing two years ago. At 22, he's 24 now. You ain't gonna pay him the money that he deserves to be paid. Because the Colts are not good without Jonathan Taylor. They proved that last year. But then turn around and say, yeah, but we're not trading you unless we get a high value pick or high value players. So you know what his worth is, but you still not paying him his worth? But you're going to expect something of high value in return?
What do you think about that, G?
I think that's what the market is. I think this year you really got a glimpse of what the league thinks about running backs. And even though the guy, like Q said, is one of the top running backs in the league, they're not trying to pay any running back. That position, they're trying to. Some people are doing it by committee. So they're like, we can get 3 guys and we can just take turns running them, and they can be, one guy get hot one game. I just think the value that they put on running backs have been really has decreased, and I think you're just starting to see that in the NFL.
Yeah, I think the shelf life of running back, what, 5 years now, 6 years now? That's about the match you're gonna get out of running back this year.
What I hate about that is, like, it's the bad teams who think they can win without their good running back. The Raiders think they can win without Josh Jacobs. Giants think they can win without Saquon.
But the key thing is they're not going to win anyway. So why even go that route? If you're not going to win, you're not going to win.
Well, and the other thing that they got to go on that gives them so much leverage, when you win the Super Bowl, when have the leading rusher appeared in the Super Bowl?
Right. You have it. You have it. What you say, Ron?
No, he's right. They did a stat on ESPN. He was right on it. I think it's only been maybe a handful of backs that had 1,000 yards, because NFL is becoming a passing league, and that's the demographic. Now, when you have a back like McCaffrey, he's lethal. You got a back like Saquon, lethal. However, Zeke messed that up for a lot of those guys. Zeke went out there and had a subpar years after he got his bread. He looked like duty.
He laid an egg.
Actually, I go farther back. It was actually Le'Veon Bell's fault for sitting out in Pittsburgh, then saying, I'm going to take the money in New York. I blame Le'Veon Bell.
I wasn't tripping off of Le'Veon, because at least Le'Veon took the whole stance. I spent the whole year out of the league. However, Zeke, he negotiated and got the bread and didn't live up to any aspect of that. Zeke was never the same. And I think a lot of it was because he's carrying too much weight. And all honesty, me being a big guy saying that. But he was carrying too much weight. And he was consistently, to me, not taking his conditioning seriously. So he's putting more stress on his body when he was trying to run and do the things that made him elite. Zeke is a track guy. People forget that. Like, he's got so heavy over the years. He was a track guy. His long speed was awesome.
His speed had decreased.
His long speed was awesome. One of the most, man, when I seen that play, I said, they got something. They was playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he caught a screen on the right side of the field at about the 20. Man, that dude was out. Katie bought a door. And he can't do that. He don't have that long speed no more.
Well, let's switch to the coverage a little bit. I know we jumping on age. Last year this time we were talking about Deion and what he was doing at Jackson State, and I asked and he did a lot for the HBCUs because now when you look at TV attention, they're attracting more TV attention to HBCU games than ever before. But why do you think we still can't get those 4 to 5 star recruits? Did Deion leave a legacy so we can open the door to get the top tier players? Or at the HBCU? I know all of us attend the HBCU, but do you think they did it, or we behind the ball on that? Or we never gonna get the top 5 recruits to go to the HBCU play? Anybody? What you think?
They have. Deion, even the 4 or 5 star recruits that Deion got to Jackson State, some of them, I know one of them actually, he didn't follow Deion to Colorado. He went to Texas Southern, I think. So, and then some players stayed in Jacksonville. Yeah, stayed at Jackson State. So that was a step in the right direction. The problem was, as soon as the opportunity rose itself, Deion left.
What do you think about that, Albert? You think we'll get the top tier?
I think even as we sit here, we HBCUs, and we're proud. And if you start looking statistically, they have produced, players at the next level, Hall of Fame or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I drive you to Alabama, if I drive you to Florida State, Clemson, and I take you to FAMU, which one are you going to choose? Even if it's your child, and you could go anywhere you want to go, which one are you going to choose?
Now, why is that? You think it because of the facilities, or you think it's you get a better education, or what do you think the key to that?
Well, I think it's facility magnified. It's all about, and then you got the NIL that's coming in and paying them X amount of dollars too. So I think it's hard to compete when you got $1 million operation, and you're telling me that I could have it, or you're telling me that I got to go to Jackson State, or it's a hard sell.
Yeah.
Even though they've had success at the HBCUs when it comes to the next level, I would venture to say, even to this day, that NFL rosters are full of HBCUs. But
right.
It's going to be a hard sell now if you tell me that I can go live in this dorm, and I've got plush, and I go to the dining hall in this plush. It's gonna be hard for me to go to Winston-Salem State, man.
What do you think about that, Playmaker? What's your thoughts?
Hey, I think Albert hit it right on the head. Even as a parent going there and sit with my child, and I'm asking about the opportunity, and they say, okay, well, if you go to Winston-Salem State, we'll give him a dining allowance of $100 a week, or you go to Alabama and they giving them a personalized chef and all this other kind of stuff. It's just a hard sell when you talk about the money and facilities. I think it just comes down to, like Albert said, if you can go anywhere you want, I'm getting national television exposure pretty much every week. I'm gonna have people on ESPN showing my highlights. I'm gonna be living it up in one of the best dorms in the country, and I'm gonna be riding around in something nice. I'm gonna have something in my pocket. It's just a hard sell to say, hey, give all that up, go stay in this dorm that is not, may not even be up to code in some cases. Yeah. And play on the football field that your high school may have been a better facility than some of the colleges. It's just a hard sell.
Yeah.
How do you get over there, RJ?
I don't know, but Greer was better than Winston-Salem State.
But it's something to think about, man.
Look, that's probably one of the best fields I played on. Y'all threw me off. When you said that, I always think about that field because we played in North Greenville there. I played there twice, actually. really dope. But go ahead with your question, Hank. I'm sorry.
I said, how do HBCUs get over the hump? If they want to compete or if they're trying to get to the next level, what is it? Is it the alumni more funding, or is it how we get over the hump? How can we make that sales pitch happen?
A lot of these programs have been effectively funded the right way. It's just the distribution of money in the sense that, man, people go in and pay for the budgets. It's just that simple. Okay. And so when you look at it, when people pay for those budgets, or the school has to spend money on outside resources based upon people's behavior, then that changes, the dynamic. But for me, there's always going to be that gap between HBCU and Division I schools. The reason why, simply put, is more money. It all boils down to money. And what that university and what the athletic department and what the corresponding people that are around them are willing to invest in.
Right. Well, we'll keep it pushing for anybody else got to say you can, but we'll keep it pushing.
I do, actually.
Okay.
Because as someone who literally was on a certain Division I campus over the summer for a few days, when I tell you the freshman dorm they put us in was smaller than the room I'm in right now, that is not always the case. I mean, it really is just the facilities. Like, I mean, when it comes to rooms, yeah, HCUs could do better with living. HCUs could do better with living spaces in general, because sometimes they try and pack everybody in. At least in my situation right now, they try and pack everybody in 2 dorms when there's 2 other dorms that could be opened, trying to save money. Or they're trying to save money and put money in somewhere else when they could put it towards facilities that could attract players. So it was really about using their money to attract players, and then for some of the former players or former alumni who went to those schools, and they're complaining how schools nowadays aren't going to HBCUs, but if they do have the money, they're not providing money to build or extend what's on the campus as is, because there's no reason you're saying, oh well, why can't we attract star athletes when the same dorm you're trying to put those star athletes in you were in 20, 30 years ago, and they haven't changed.
Right. Okay. Well, good conversation. We'll switch up a little bit. As I watch Undisputed, I'm gonna play this for you guys. I want to get y'all take on it.
Well, wait, hold on a second. Hold up. Before you play, be careful. Undisputed likes to take videos down with their clips.
Well, we don't want to try it.
Nah. Undisputed is Fox, and Fox don't play that.
All right. We'll leave it alone. Well, basically, what we can start to cover. I can tell you
leave the screen up and just talk about it. But yeah,
I can tell you what was said. So it was Keyshawn, Richard Sherman, Michael Irvin are Undisputed, and what Richard Sherman said that the cornerback position is a harder position than the wide receiver position. Anybody got any thoughts on that, or we keep it pushing?
It is. It is, but I'll argue there's a harder position than cornerback.
Anybody in the comment? Anybody else? Everybody quiet.
Go ahead.
What position did you just say?
Richard Sherman said the cornerback position is a harder position to play than the wide receiver position.
And I would argue,
I think it is.
It is definitely harder, but I maybe it's biased. I think a harder position than that is playing opposite center.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, okay. Anybody else got any thoughts? A playmaker, Al, you got any thoughts? Or there's something to...
Well, I think the interesting thing, and I think we miss a point, that you could argue that cornerback is the toughest position, quarterback is the toughest, but to see the emphasis that Michael Irvin and Keyshawn and Richard Sherman had over this one topic was more than I thought. Like, wow. I mean, he just made a statement, and they just went haywire over it. And you couldn't show the video, and I get it, but the show, I mean, they just went crazy over just that one statement, and I thought it was, and Mike Irvin went far as to say it wasn't rehearsed, and it may have not been rehearsed, but it seemed like it was to gather as much attention for that particular station or program as they could gather, because the question wasn't really that big of a deal. I mean,
right, it wasn't.
We could debate on a lot of things.
In fact, I'll say that's what you get when you get two very strong personalities that played on the opposite side of the ball. And I'm pretty sure Richard Sherman would have loved to play against Michael Irvin in his prime, just to talk. You got two talkers, two strong personalities, two of the best in their position on the same show, and your mediator is Skip Bayless. You think Skip Bayless is going to get between those two, and they're going to listen to him?
Richard Sherman wasn't none of Mike. Mike would have gave him that work.
I agree with the part.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, Mike would have gave him that work. With Troy Aikman throwing that ball off his back foot, bang. That's the one thing that really put on it. That's all the football that's lost right now.
But
quarterbacks are making that drop. Huh?
Richard Sherman is known to be a zone cornerback anyway. So he's not even in the conversation of, I mean, and that's just my opinion. As far as he gets a lot of credit for being a great defensive back, and he was, but his main thing was he played in a zone all the time. And when you start talking about great corners, we talk about we going mano a mano.
Yeah,
and Richard Sherman, he had a great career, but he was not known to be a great one-on-one guy. And,
one thing about that,
and I go to what Quentin was saying, and he touched on something about Skip Bayless. He was loving every minute of it because that's what his job entails, is to get them hyped up and get them fussed about something, and hopefully somebody will start talking about it because he needs the rating. And for me, that's what it came down to.
Yeah.
And
it was kind of funny when they were talking. Keith said, "Well, Richard Sherman, what was it you start out playing? We were receiver." So he thought I asked receivers. I just thought that was an interesting.
I'll say the difference between why even I would say cornerback is difficult, because you have to follow. I saw someone say you have to follow most times one of the fastest players on offense, and then have to try and predict where they're going to go. Are they going to stop on a dime or on a curl? They're going to run in, run out, post corner. And then you got someone like Sherman, Sherman says on one side of the field, to run that cover 3 or cover 2. He stays on that side of the field. But then with a zone, you got to worry about who's running in front of you, who's running behind you, who's running through your zone. Do I got to follow him through the zoners? That's why I say, because receiver, your job is to run a route, be the fastest, and then catch the ball. So that's why I say, corner is the most difficult position. I will say, I do not want to hear Richard Sherman talk about basketball anymore, trying to say that Lakers and Bucks should swap AD and Giannis. I knew we were going to talk about basketball. I had to say that because, Jesus. Skip, bring some basketball players on when you want to talk about basketball. I don't want to hear Sherman say, let's trade swap. Let's trade straight up AD for Giannis. I'd love it as a Lakers fan, but that's not happening.
I'll just add one thing to the conversation and we can move on. I think when you look at the way the rules are set up, it's in favor of the offensive player. So it makes if you touch the guy when they go up, automatically they're going to throw the flag, pass interference. If you jam them a little bit too far past the 5 yards, is interference. It's just all the rules are set up for the offensive players, so it makes it harder for the defensive player to be effective.
Good points. What's that? Anybody else? Cool. Hey, this is the last thing we're going to talk about football tonight because the football season gone. But I do want to put this up. It's the top with the top 5 or the top 100 NFL ranking players of the year coming up. So we look at the top 5. If anybody had no discussion, we can keep it pushing. But they got Pat Mahomes at 1, Justin Jefferson at 2, Jalen Hurts at 3, Nick Bosa at 4, Travis Kelce at 5.
I like to argue in all Philadelphia bias that Jalen Hurts should be at 2. Justin Jefferson did not play the whole season last year, and when he did go up against the Eagles, Darius Slay had him in lockdown that whole game.
That dude ball out of control, man. I think he had somewhere in the neighborhood about 1,600 yards, man.
He had a great
season.
Season.
Came against us.
Well, we had Slay back there too, so that's a little different animal. Anybody else have any
Slay don't want to see Terry McLaurin, do he?
I just like the fact
Slay gonna get that smoke. Slay gonna get slayed.
What you say, Albert?
I just like because it's not just quarterbacks, that they did identify other guys in other positions.
Yeah.
One more thing.
With Nick Bosa. Which the 49ers, I'm glad they signed him. They ain't want to sign the man. Okay, don't sign him.
I like to say one more thing. Hey, all power to Nick Bosa, but Hassan Reddick had a better season last year.
But he ain't better than Nick Bosa.
It's not about being. This is about what they did last year, not overall. It's what they did last year. All right. Now Nick Bosa got it off name value. That's why he's at 4. But Hassan Reddick was number 2 in DPOY and probably should have won it.
If you think about what Bosa means to San Francisco defense versus what Reddick means to the Eagles defense, there's not much comparison.
Because with Reddick, now I agree with you on that. Because Reddick can take a break. We can switch Reddick out against Nick Bosa. He got to play every snap, buddy.
Yeah.
He got to get it every snap.
But two, ask 49ers offense what Hassan Reddick did to them. Hassan Reddick, the 49ers been crying ever since they lost that game.
You're right, Q, but I guess what the point you're missing is the way the Eagles defense set up. Hassan Reddick ain't got to play every down. If Nick Bosa get out there and field the 49ers, that's a whole different defense, buddy. That's a whole different defense.
And you also got to look at the Eagles had how many guys with double-digit sacks?
Yeah,
we had 5 or 6, but
if you look at San Fran defense, they didn't have 5 or 6 guys with double-digit. San Fran can do without. They can't do without Bosa. The Eagles could do without Reddick.
Actually, hold on a second.
I'm an Eagles fan, and I can agree with that.
People were saying 49ers had a better defense than us last year.
No. What he's saying is that particular player, we did. Like I said, we done said it. I mean, and I'm an Eagles fan, but I agree with that. I don't have no problem. I don't have no problem. Man, I really don't want Jalen that high. I want Jalen to be by around 15 or 20. I want to play with a little chip on the shoulder. Don't be patting him on the back too early. It's too early to pat him on the back.
We are not as much. I want to be done. We are not the underdogs anymore. Jalen,
we always the underdogs, son. Always the underdogs. What you say, playmaker?
I am wearing our Eagles underdog socks right now, but Jalen, I still think Jalen's ready to be number 2.
That's fine, but get in that play.
You know, if you're talking about impact that the player has on the team, I think you're overlooking Henry. If you take a Henry off of that Titans team, you have nothing. So I think you got to make a case for that man because he is the offense of that team. They got no run. They got nobody else to relieve them, and they got no quarterback, and they can't put the ball in anybody's hands as a receiver. So he is really the offense.
But I think the running back position is becoming archaic. So they're trying to put about the league anyway.
Y'all gonna hate me how much I'm talking about the Eagles. We shut Henry down when we played them too. We dared him to run the ball. We dared him to run the ball.
Like I said, Q, we don't want
to be. You dare who to run the ball?
They said the Titans were gonna run all over us. And we're going to stop the run. We beat them in that game. We purposely went out in that Titans game and ran the ball down their throat. Then dared them to run the ball.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, like I say, we don't want to. I like the Eagles play with a chip on his shoulder. I don't like
Jalen got a chip on his shoulder.
Air their chest too much. One more topic, guys, for the night. What's that, Ron?
I'm gonna say this to you. what's going to surprise people about the Eagles is that I think they're going to effectively come out to a good start. But I think having 2 new coordinators is a lot to replace. And when you start thinking about that, that's a concern. I think they have elite talent. However, they're gonna have a few stumbles. And when they do,
well, ain't no team gonna go undefeated. I mean, ain't gonna say that.
No, yeah.
But the offensive coordinator, yeah, it make a difference, but it still run the same offense, because that is Nick surrounding offense, so the offense don't change.
As far as the defense goes, I think we got Matt Patricia, and Matt Patricia may not be a good head coach, but one thing he knew is he coached a defense. You don't want him to coach offense, though. No, because stay away from our offense. But he can coach defense.
All right, guys, we're gonna switch to basketball.
He can coach better than what we had last year.
What you say, Ron? Okay. Hey, we're gonna tackle one more subject in basketball. Then we call. Hey, this the last week, guys. We ain't scrambling. We getting good conversation. But after this week, we be right in the midst of football season, so it'll be a little more different. But we definitely enjoying it. But I'm gonna play this clip for basketball. This will be the wind it down for the night.
I have to read you a text that I received this morning.
Whoa,
good morning, sir.
That is Disney. Disney don't flip that either. We talked about this like off the show before we got onto it.
All right,
Disney got mad at Spectrum and took all the shows off.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Sorry about the fans. I'm trying to upgrade, get a little more audio, be a little more fancy on the podcast.
That first
my technical sound guy not letting me do it tonight, but that's okay.
The first clip was good because it wasn't, but you can't mess with ESPN and Fox like you.
We'll keep pushing.
Let's talk about Fox.
Okay, we'll keep pushing. So the conversation is and this is the last one we'll have tonight. It may be a quick one. Who is the better point guard in the league, and who's the best point guard between Magic and Steph Curry? Is there even a conversation? Anybody?
Not a conversation.
Yes, it is.
Not a conversation. And I like both players, but not a conversation.
I can tell you because it depends on what you want. It depends on what you want from your point guard.
That's why I said it's not a conversation.
So if you put Magic Johnson at Golden State with half of a Splash Brother with Klay Thompson, are they a championship team?
Yeah, he Magic.
No, they're not. They're not.
Hold. Say that one more time, Gary.
In this upcoming season, if you take Magic Johnson in his prime and replace Steph Curry with him on that team, with that coach, the way that they're designed, are they a championship team?
They run a motion offense. The only thing that they're doing is shooting threes.
But what could Magic Johnson not do?
Is Magic going to replace?
Listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. Rondo said something that was very interesting the other day. He said, man, I'm probably in the league. I was top 3. Rondo couldn't shoot with a ding-dang, right? Mm-hmm. But if I can facilitate the offense and be the quarterback of the offense, and I make everybody else around me better, that's evidence of the fact that LeBron beat them in the 7-game series.
You gonna make Green better?
Say it again.
I think Magic can.
You think Magic gonna make Green better? What are you gonna do? Hold him up and let him dunk?
I'm about to say they're about to say First off, Magic's bigger than him, but besides that, you gonna run who was scared of a pick and roll with Magic and Draymond Green?
Well, hold on. I'm gonna get Albert. Get in there, Albert. Get in that coach. Hold up. Get in that coach.
Well. First of all, I don't think Steph Curry is a point guard. When you start looking at the definition of facilitator, Draymond is more of a facilitator than Steph Curry is. Not to take anything from Steph Curry, because I feel like Magic Johnson was the ultimate point guard. He led a team from facilitating the offense versus sometimes Curry don't even touch the ball. He's running off picks and he's shooting. So he's more of a shooting guy than he is point guard. I think there's several point guards in the NBA that's better point guards and facilitators than Curry, but there's not many guys that shoot the ball as well as he does.
Right.
And that's
Now,
why I say it depends on what you want.
Hold on, let me get Barry here, because Barry, he told me although he ain't here tonight, he said, hey, I'm going to skip tonight, but by the way, Curry is delusional. Magic is the greatest point guard of all time. So that's from B. Franks. I got to get him in tonight. It's his birthday. Point guard wise, I agree. I think Magic is a facility. He may not be the 3-point range shooter as Steph is, but I think as far as if you put him in that Golden State offense, he may not shoot the points, but I'm pretty sure he'll make that team better because of the way he facilitates and see the floor. I think he'll make Draymond better. Draymond may be shooting the threes no more. He may get Draymond a pass on the post or pass on the cut. So I think he'll make that team a different dynamic team than what Steph gonna bring.
A different dynamic does not make them actually better.
It can be better though, sir.
Curry is not him with the ball, is him without the ball.
Which makes him not a point
guard,
which makes him not a point guard.
He's not a point guard.
If Curry brings the ball to the floor, and because he has run a pick and roll, granted, you may not be scared of a pick and roll with Draymond. Like I said, he has run that pick and roll. But if you bring Curry up the floor, pass the ball, and he runs to the corner, opposite corner, up to the wing, you're worried about that. You're not worried.
I'm telling you the truth. I'm more worried about
the 24-second clock that ran out before he get the ball again.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with Magic running the pick and roll than Steph Curry running the pick and roll. When Magic come up that pick and roll, he can shoot the three, he can pass, and he can penetrate. I mean, he can facilitate it. Steph can shoot that thing, but I don't know if he can facilitate the way.
Here's what I have a problem with it. We love giving people flowers until it's time to give people. We all understand Curry's the best shooter the NBA has ever seen. We all understand if you give the ball to Curry and he dribbles the ball up the floor, you have to guard him from the opposite 3-point line because he will shoot it from the opposite 3-point line and he will make it. You're not worried about Magic Johnson until he gets to the 3-point line.
Negative,
sir. Oh my goodness.
That is so wrong. You couldn't be more wrong.
If someone can show me multiple clips of Magic Johnson pulling from 40, not just 30, pulling from 40.
Well, why Curry?
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of being Stephen Curry is that you can score points. But does what he do and has his team like Magic and has his team?
Say again?
Could Curry win with the Showtime Lakers?
Yes.
No.
You honestly think at the pace that they were going, he can facilitate that offense? I rest my case.
But
that's the difference.
But could Magic run the Golden State offense?
The Golden State offense is nothing more than a motion offense and then essentially get out of the place and having guys on the wing. And so when they come cross half court, they pretty much run it maybe about 2-3 sets, I seen, and they do their thing. So, yeah.
I just don't see Magic running off screen shooting threes at Golden State. I don't think that's a recipe for success. Now, Magic is a great point guard, and I think if you put him in a traditional set offense, he's by far the better player. If you put him in the Golden State offense, the way that Golden State runs their offense, he is not going to be able to perform at maximum to his maximum level. That's all I'm saying. So I agree with Albert said the first time. They're really not comparing apples to apples because one is more of a shooting guard and one is more of a point guard. But if you're saying, hey, if you swap them in their respective teams at their prime, either one of them could operate at the high level that their teams are currently operating.
Great conversation, guys. Great conversation. We're gonna wrap it up. Wrap it a little early, guys. I know we normally go a little long. Wrap it a little early. Quentin, last words.
My last word is a question specifically for Albert. And every time when you have someone who's not on the show, I'm going to bring this up. Albert, where do you rank Chris Webber in all-time power forwards?
I love it.
I'd say probably 5 or 6.
No,
Just off the top.
I don't think you heard the question. I don't think you heard the question. Is Chris Webber top 10 of all time? Power forward.
Top 10 power forwards?
Of all time.
Of course.
No, Chris Webber.
I mean, he's not on mute, playmaker. He done answered the question 3 times. Hey, so
I know we're running out of time, but I'd like for him to name 10 power forwards all time that are better than Chris Webber.
Oh, but don't let him do that. We don't see this is a running joke because we've been told again. We've been told him about a month on this, about 2 months on this game. We've been whipping him about 2 months on this thing.
but just off the top of my head, just for giggles, you got the Duncan, Tim Duncan. Do you agree or disagree?
Absolutely.
The mailman.
Absolutely.
Barkley.
No.
No.
I keep telling you, no.
So you tell me Barkley is a power forward?
And better than Chris Webber? No.
Yeah. Twice on Sunday.
Okay, I give you okay, Barkley, go ahead.
Kevin Garnett.
Okay.
And then and I'll throw an easy one. Paul Gasol.
What?
Wow. That's questionable. You know what? And I'm gonna help you. I give you Kevin McHale. So I'm gonna help you, and you still need 4 more.
Still need 4 more.
Oh, you said 5. You
want
me to keep going?
Who?
So what?
You want me to keep going?
We're at 6. Keep going.
So let's just look at who we got in the league today. Giannis.
Come on.
You froze.
Yeah, you froze. Is that a yes or no?
I give you that one.
KD, AD.
Who?
KD.
Kevin Durant and
Kevin Durant's a 3, but AD
is not a power forward, and AD is sometimes he plays, sometimes he don't.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving you that one either.
Nah.
And
Dennis
I'm a Laker fan.
Dennis Rodman.
No. No, sir.
Wait. He got one more. We're at 9. He at least got one more.
He can't find.
No, he just named them. We ain't giving him that. We ain't giving him those last.
I'll give him the last one because he hasn't said Dirk yet.
Dirk Nowitzki.
No.
So you're 8.
Big Z from Memphis.
Cut it out. Cut it out.
No,
Cut
sir.
it out.
No, sir.
No, Zach.
We know who you're talking about. That's a negative.
What's the guy's name?
Zach Randolph.
Zach Randolph. No, sir.
No.
You're reaching.
Now for context, let me tell you some of the other people he named when we did this a few months ago. He also named Sean Kemp, Amari Stoudemire, Carlos Boozer.
Yeah.
Boy, if you don't stop, you in the trash can now. Them boys ain't even the best 3 power forward on their whole team all time.
So wait a minute, because my mind is drawing the blank. Just give me a second.
Well, hey, we're working again for next show. RJ, your last thoughts for the night, RJ.
Man, listen. The NBA is a different game now. If we think about it and we break it down, the game that we're seeing right now is beautiful, more skilled than ever before. I think Magic is one of those players. He could have played in any era. And I think when we put a cap on him, I think Steph is a player that could have played in any era, but I think Steph gets a little bit of preferential treatment. Because we went down the lane back in the day, they bust his teeth out his mouth.
But you said he could play in era.
You had Craig Hodges. You had Steve Kerr, Paxson. Those guys didn't drive the lane. They shot spot up dump shots. They played on the wing.
But they were not superstars either. Curry is a superstar.
No,
I think Curry could play in that era, but he would not be the superstar that he is right now. No.
I think what he did, what people don't even realize what he did is he revolutionized the jump shot in the sense that people are taking those longer jump shots. And he would have been way ahead of time in Magic's era trying to take those long threes. You know, because the 3-point shot, I think it came out in the late 70s. So it's not like, you know, it's been around.
Realizing that in the 80s and 90s, they ain't you let 3-point shot a lot more than 90s than the 80s when Magic them play. They'll shoot it, right, but that wasn't their bread and butter.
Like for context, I think someone said Larry Bird only averaged like 3-4 threes a game. Curry averaged like 5, 6, 7 threes.
But he is the greatest shooter, and nobody will argue with that. But he shoots the ball probably about 15 times to make 7 of them.
Right.
If you go look at
he is a volume shooter. He is a volume shooter.
Look at statistics. Curry is probably the most volume shooter in the league right now. Yeah. And everybody says he's the greatest shooter. Nobody can argue. But statistically, he may have 30, 40 points, but he's shot the ball almost 60 times.
Right.
So he gets a lot of leverage for. He gets a lot of leeway on him being able to shoot as many times as he does.
Right. Iverson was the same way, though.
And so was Kobe. Hold on a second.
AI.
Something about that don't sound right. Y'all keep going. Something don't sound right.
I'm trying to. Playmaker, your last words for the night, brother.
I'm gonna go in a little bit of different direction. My last word is about being present. I think talking from personal experience, I missed a lot of opportunities to have some huge impacts in a lot of people's lives because I chose not to be present. I thought that they needed something that I couldn't provide, but when I really sit back and think about it and really analyze it, sometimes people just need you to be present. They don't need you to be a Bible scholar or something extraordinary. They just need your presence. So my thing for today is if you have an opportunity to be present for somebody that means something to you, be present.
So, Ab, what we normally do in our podcast, hold up, Q. What we normally do our podcast, we close out. We give everybody we don't close out this, Q. We give everybody last thought or last word of the podcast. So, do you have anything to share for the fans as your last thought? And I give
I think I go into the panel that because this is my first time,
right?
And I think we have interesting topics. I think the range of it goes from different eras, different perspectives, and I think that makes it strong. I've enjoyed the first time being on, and it's interesting how you have different perspectives because we are from different eras and we open up different points. So I think that's good.
Okay, after the show, stay on, but again, hey, my last word, guys, it's football season. It's high school football season. Get out. Enjoy, take the kids out. Go to a high school football game. Find out who's playing in your local area. Get involved in the sports. Even especially if you got young boys that's in middle school or elementary school. Get these young men out and take them to a football game. If you can, take them to a college football game. But start exposing them early to sports, man, because sports teaches us a lot of lessons. It's always the common denominator. Hey, guys, great show. And like always, may your next move be the game changer. Peace.